As war rages on, we're seeing some pullbacks. I quantify opportunities in the materials and technology space. All that and more on today's REKTelligence report. As a friendly reminder, everything in today's show is for informational purposes only. There is no investment advice given. All right, let's get into the show. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Dave Bush. This is the Edge Report, where I quantify specific opportunities in the stock market, commodities, crypto, and so on. Today I have an equities focus. We're going to look at some pullbacks. Let's get right into it. First of all, I'm going to start with XLB. This is the State Street Materials Select Sector Spider ETF, basically the materials ETF. And you can see this daily chart has pulled back on that right-hand side. And the condition that I'm testing is simply XLB pulls back by at least 5% within 10 days to a 10-day low. What should we expect from here? Is there opportunity in the space? That's what I want to find out. Before I get into today's analysis, I want to briefly explain the REKTelligence Score. This is pivotal to my own analysis, and this is an objective function, which just is a way of saying it's a unified formula or score, 0 to 100, which takes into account profitability, win rate, edge quality, return efficiency, and risk in the form of drawdown. Strategies with less than 20 trades do not get a score. They are insufficient in terms of data. Strategies with at least 20 trades show a score, but are usually not statistically significant, but they can be. And validated means strategies with greater than or equal to 30 trades. And an asterisk, these passed a t-test with a probability of less than 5% that the results are due to random noise. We've got results here for XLB, the materials ETF, same setup, a pullback by 5% within 10 days to a 10-day low. Data 2000 to the present. We can see over that time, this is fairly common, 58 instances. Total P&L is healthy, 364 and change percent. The hit rate, 67%. This is basically 2 out of 3. And profit factor, 2.7. So gross sum of profits is 2.7 times gross sum of losses. Average trade, a little bit north of 3%, 3.26%. And this is a 3-month hold, so 63 days on average, and it has an R-score of 46.4, which is really nothing fantastic. Sure, the metrics are decent. Let's take a look at a slightly more sophisticated exit. So this will be an exit in 3 months, or if it closes above the upper Bollinger Band with standard Bollinger Band settings, first. So either exit, whichever happens first. So the longest trade still 63 days, but other trades can happen more quickly in this scenario, of course. 60 instances, again, 2000 to the present, otherwise the same setup. And the hit rate has jumped up to 76.67%. Profit factor now tops 3.022, slightly smoother equity curve. An average trade, it's slightly under 3.17, but overall the metrics are better here. Now, is a REKTelligence score of 59.8 like we have here, is it super enticing? No, it's solid for sure. I'd love to trade 70 something or higher if possible. Let's take a look at a stock within the material space. We have Ecolab Inc. here, which notice the pullback as well. This is actually slightly different. Pulls back by 7% inside 5 days, again to a 10-day low. And let's take a look at the data for ECL, Ecolab. We've got an equity curve here, 31 instances, and total P&L 425 and change percent. The worst case drawdown, real max drawdown on the left there, 38.68%. The hit rate is phenomenal, 83.87% across 31 instances again, so that's 26 out of 31, and profit factor is 6.011. Awesome to see that. The REKTelligence score here with an average trade, by the way, of 5.87% across all these trades. The REKTelligence score tops 70, 72.9. And the median loss, which I don't always mention, 4.84, so it's less actually than the average trade, although really comparing median gain to median loss would be better. I don't have that on this screen. At any rate, this is a very solid edge with the 3-month hold or close above the upper Bollinger Band. Let's take a look at the same stock, basically the same setup with a slightly different exit for a quicker trade. So here we are, and we've got an exit in 1 month or a close above the 10 simple moving average first, whichever happens first. So total P&L here is less 149 and change percent across 41 instances, again 2000 to the present. Worst case drawdown on the left-hand side, 30.43%. During COVID, you can see that here. Hit rate is 80.49%, not quite as robust as the last example, different exit type, but very solid, above 80% with 41 instances, no less, and profit factor 3.914. The REKTelligence score here is even higher at 77.1. This is not because it's just a short hold time. Short doesn't always win over longer duration, but it is more capital efficient. The average percent per day here is 0.331%. Average trade is 7.2 days, and the longest trade here is roughly 1 month in day terms, which is 21. So pretty good looking setup here for Ecolab. I like it a lot. I'll be tracking it. Traders, crypto is not a wild, unruly market. It's an asset class with 500% more time for price discovery and opportunity. My new course, Crypto Traders Edge, is now live through Algo Advantage, one of the top quant pods and academies out there. A full systematic framework, backtesting, strategy development, validation, real edges with full code, not hype. Links in the description, or head to my Substack at REKTelligence. Now back to the show. All right, change of sector now. This is Broadcom, of course, a tech stock, ticker symbol AVGO, and a very similar setup to what we've been looking at in the material space so far. This is a pullback by 7% within 10 days to a 2-month low. And this did not happen this week. This happened a while ago, in fact, late 2025, but it's still open. This will, as a preview, probably time out. It will hit its time exit, but let's take a look at this setup. I found it so compelling, I wanted to share. So 2000 to the present, we have 27 instances of this setup in AVGO, and the exit is either in 3 months or a close above the upper Bollinger Band, whichever happens first. The average trade here, 11.93% across 27 instances. That is very robust. The hit rate, 96.3%. That's 26 out of 27 so far. If the current open trade closes positively, that would boost it a little bit. Profit factor here is a phenomenal 48.343. And the average days, 34.2 for this trade setup with this logic. And of course, the longest is 63 days, approximating 3 months. And the average percent per day, 0.349, almost 0.35%. REKTelligence score, 87.6. It's very hard to find scores that high. Now, this is statistically significant. You usually don't see that under 30 trades, but this qualifies, and just an overall great looking equity chart. So this is, again, not a current opportunity. It is open, but really nearing the end of its lifespan. Perhaps it triggers the close above the upper Bollinger exit, but most likely is going to time out. All right, everyone, thanks for watching today's rather short and sweet Edge report. I kept it on the short side because I'm working on delivering a lot of things, including a strategy analyzer app for TradingView and a real-time Edge engine, which will find all of these setups in real time, institutional grade. Super excited about that one. And of course, you'll hear about it when it's ready. For now, trade smart, live well, and cheers from the Caribbean.